Let's talk about the crisis confronting young men in this country. You write about this in your new book, Notes on Being a Man. You say that young American men are more likely to suffer addiction, more likely to slip into depression, land in jail, remain single, remain isolated, even kill themselves than any previous generation of men. What is happening?
Yeah, it would be hard to identify a cohort that has fallen further faster than young men over the last 20 years. If you walk into a morgue and there's 5 people who died by suicide, Elizabeth, 4 are men. So 4 times more likely to kill themselves. We have a homeless and an opiate crisis, but what we really have is a male homeless and a male opiate crisis. They're 3 times more likely to be addicted, 12 times more likely to be incarcerated. Only 1 in 3 men under the age of 30 is in a relationship, whereas 2 in 3 women are in a relationship. And you think, well, that's mathematically impossible. It's not, because women are dating older because they want more economically and emotionally viable men. You have now 1 in 7 men are qualified as NEETs. They're neither in education, employment, or training. They're essentially doing nothing. 1 out of 3 men under the age of 25 still lives at home. 1 out of 5 men at 30 is still living at home. So we have essentially a group of people who are becoming just very unproductive citizens. And the result is the deaths of despair. Drunk driving accidents, suicide, opiate addiction, overdoses. Since 2002, for the last 23 years, more men have died incrementally, not men who are dying from deaths of despair, but additional deaths from despair is greater than the number of young men who were lost in World War II. So this is taking a real toll on households and on young men. And we were off mic talking about the struggles of young men. When a boy loses a male role model, at that moment, he's more likely to be incarcerated than graduate from college. And the interesting thing about that data, Elizabeth, is that a girl in a single-parent home has similar outcomes, same rates of college attendance, same rates of self-harm. What it ends up is that while boys are physically stronger, they're emotionally and neurologically much weaker than girls. And what we're seeing is the kind of economic sucking sound of economic prosperity being transferred from young to old, which has happened over the last 40 years, is having a disproportionately negative effect on young men.
So you're saying that young women are better equipped somehow to deal with all the headwinds that are derailing young men?
That's what the data shows. When a woman doesn't have a romantic relationship, oftentimes she pours that energy back into her friend network and her professional life. If a man hasn't cohabitated or been married by the time he's 30, there's a 1 in 3 chance he's going to be a substance abuser. There's this cartoon, Elizabeth, of a woman in her 30s who didn't find romantic love, sitting in the windowsill with cats, staring out depressed. Like, what a tragedy that Lisa didn't find love. Guess what, Elizabeth? Lisa's just fine. The data's clear. Widows are happier after their husband dies. Widowers are less happy after their wife dies. Women in relationships do live longer, 2 to 4 years. Men in relationships live 4 to 7 years longer. So just the outcomes, the rates of self-harm, it ends up, the bottom line is, men need relationships more than women. And essentially, women are more resilient. They don't know if it's because women have had to endure menstruation or childbirth, but it ends up, I'll give you a really frightening statistic. 2 15-year-olds, a boy and a girl, both sexually molested. Neither crime is less heinous than the other. The boy is 10 times more likely to kill himself later in life. So what we're coming to grips with the fact is that men and boys are neurologically weaker and need relationships more. Now, I want to be clear, that doesn't mean they're entitled to relationships. No group is expected or responsible for servicing another group of men, but the reality is men need relationships more than women.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.